Now? Hello, everyone. Can I get your attention for 1 second? Good afternoon, it's Michelle Satchel. I just wanted to let you know we are waiting for the arrival of the speaker. But in the meantime, what we are going to do is Heather is going to play you a selection while we are waiting for her arrival, okay?
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a rare rose up in Spanish Harlem. It is a special one that never sees the sun and only comes out when the moon is on the run and all the stars are gleaming. I'm going to pick that rose and watch her as she grows in my garden. There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a rare rose up in Spanish Harlem. With eyes as black as coal, they look down in my soul and start a fire there, and then I lose control. I have to beg your pardon. I'm going to pick that rose and watch her as she grows in my garden. La 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 la. I'm going to pick that rose and watch her as she grows in my garden. In Spanish Harlem, in Spanish Harlem, in Spanish Harlem.
Thank you. So, Spanish and Latin rhythms have been popularized in Western music, but in some research I did, I found that in 1930 is when it really began to be infused in American music, and this is due to the portability of music and also the immigration of Latin and Spanish cultures. And even though minor scales had been used for centuries in classical music, its application in American music was limited. And that romantic sound that comes from Spanish guitars is directly attributed to those minor chords and scales. So a lot of the selections you'll hear me play for you today will have those type of darker sounding scales that give it that signature Spanish sound.
We are still waiting patiently. And just keep in mind our guest speaker, Miss Stephanie Valencia, is coming from the White House. And as soon as she arrives, we'll get started with the program. So I hope you're enjoying the music provided by Heather. So I'll let you continue with that. And that is her.
So this is a song that I wrote, and it's called A Careless Truth.
Yes, it's true that I gave away my heart selflessly, carelessly. But when I was blind, such a fool, and didn't know it. And it's sad, and it's true, that I gave my love to you. And like the man that you are, you couldn't stay. No puedo creer que se robó mi corazón. Estaba ciega, era una tonta, sin yo saberlo, sin yo saberlo. Nuestro amor ha cambiado, pero contigo me quedaré. Si solo me das otra vez tu corazón. Now alone with this empty space I wait cautiously, attentively, avoiding all attempts of wanting lovers that claim me, wishing that they would just let me be. But it's sad, oh so blue, to see the ghost I've turned into ever since the day I let you set me free. Prefiero no tener a nadie si no te tengo a ti.
Thank you. So I have some selections for you at the end of the program, but right now I'm just seeing what I can find that has, a Latin theme. This one has some minor chords. Not a Latin song, but it definitely infuses those minor chords.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out, I'll lay your ship to bear. See how I leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I go through. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, it's bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me of us, they keep me thinking we could have had it all. The scars of your
think we are ready. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Wow, I got to hear pieces of it and it sounds so pretty. Thank you, Heather. And so as you can see, our keynote speaker, Ms. Stephanie Valencia, is here now. And so without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. And just let me start by saying my name. My name is Michelle Satchel. I am the Hispanic Employment Program Manager, and I have the pleasure of presiding over today's program. And at this time, I would ask that you please stand for the presentation of colors, and please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Heather Diegues.
Color, 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 hope.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ready? Oh, oh. Marching fast.
Okay, you may be seated. Thank you, Heather, for the beautiful singing. And so now, please join me in welcoming Dick Peterson, our Deputy Director, to the podium as he brings us the welcome and opening remarks.
Thank you, Michelle, and Heather, thank you again. Wonderful job, and thank you to the Mint Color Guard as well. Welcome to our celebration of National Hispanic Heritage Month here at the United States Mint. We have a long tradition of terrific special emphasis programs like this one. Today is no exception. We're excited to have our guest speaker, Stephanie Valencia, here. I'm looking forward to your remarks. Welcome, and we're very glad that you're here. For 25 years now, the United States has officially celebrated National Hispanic Heritage Month. The theme of the national celebration this year is Hispanics serving and leading our country with pride and honor. And we have two distinguished Hispanic leaders with us today. Making the introduction of our guest speaker is our very own Treasurer of the United States, Rosie Rios. Rosie is no stranger to the Mid. You all know her. She was here last week and gave a town hall here at headquarters. And she did a terrific job last Friday up at Fort McHenry when we launched the Fort McHenry $250 up in Baltimore. She's a fan of the Mint, and she's very appreciative of everything that you do each and every day to supply the nation with circulating coins, bullion coins, and numismatic coins. Please welcome the Treasurer of the United States, Rosie Rios.
Thank you, Dick. When Stephanie was gracious enough to accept our invitation, of course, I wanted to make sure that I had the honor of introducing her. You do have her bio, but I want to highlight a few points to this and also offer my personal perspectives. So she is currently the Special Assistant to the President and Principal Deputy Director of the Office of Public Engagement. She's been with the White House Office of Public Engagement since February of 2009. And prior to that, she worked on a number of issues, but I consider her to be the point person for our community on so many other areas. She also had the privilege of working with then Senator Ken Salazar, and in addition, started out as a Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute Fellow. And so I'm trying to connect all those dots, and there's so much relevance to what she does today and to how I even met her. But I want to just share a couple of my own experiences with her and why it's such an honor to have her here today. She's seeing all my worlds collide today. I first met Stephanie even before the administration was in place. In fact, even before President Obama won his election. And this is when we were both very much engaged in issues regarding the Latino vote. And I remember it was Federico Pena who told me that if there was anyone who could get anything done on the campaign trail in terms of a special request that we were working on, it would be Stephanie. And so he gave me her phone number. I'm going way back here. I called her, and I remember speaking to her, and we talked about the specific project that we were working on. And I remember her response. And the first thing I thought of was, wow, she really has it all together. She knows exactly what she's talking about. Very professional, very mature, and just obviously extremely knowledgeable. And the president won. I was on the transition team along with Stephanie, and I will never forget meeting her in person. It just completely took me by surprise because I didn't realize that I was old enough to be her mother, quite frankly, and that this very mature and professional person who was literally guiding a lot of our activities along the way was someone who was just so even much more impressive in person than she was on the phone. And so I've had the opportunity and the luxury of working with her in many, many capacities. And she's held different responsibilities within the administration. But what I enjoy the most about her is she doesn't just represent our community. She represents the president. She represents our external stakeholders. She connects every dot that is so important in making sure that we do our jobs well and that we have a lot of pride in what we do collectively. And so it is absolutely my honor to have her here with us today. And I will continue to turn to her whenever there is something that I need, or will always continue to value our friendship that we have to this day. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Stephanie Valencia.
Well, I have greatly appreciated Treasurer Rosie Rios' friendship for the many years that we've known each other, and set the bar really high, so I hope I can meet that for all of you guys today. But thank you all for inviting me. I think I very much value getting out of the White House. It's a little bit of a crazy place this week, as you guys can imagine, as I feel like I say that every week. But thank you, Dick, and thank you, everyone, for having me here today and for celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. There was beautiful music. I hope we can hear a little bit more of that later on. But I want to first start off by saying that I got several invitations to speak at different agencies, but this was my number one choice because I was hoping I'd leave with some heavy pockets. So I know I'm going to get a couple quarters here in a minute, but if anybody wants to share any spare desk change or anything like that, I'm sure you have a lot of that lying around here. But I'm here to express my thanks, and as we pause to recognize the contributions of Hispanics to this country during this month of Hispanic Heritage Month, and learn about different cultures and experiences. It's so great to see so many diverse faces in this room, to really kind of think how far we've come as a community and as a country as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. I know now is not the easiest time to work in federal government and public service. There are the kind of constant, continuous budget battles and the noise here in Washington about how we do our job as the government and what the role of the government is, and just kind of all that uncertainty. And so I just want to say thank you for the work that you do here in carrying out the mission of the Mint in the United States Treasury on a day-to-day basis. And to always remember that what we're here to do is to serve the interests of the American people and to leave this country in a better place than we found it, for our kids stronger, safer, and just better than we inherited it. So that is why I'm in public service, why I work for the president. It's not because he's a great guy. He is. Rosie's a great person, but I think we're all here because we want to leave the country in a better place than we had it, and for our kids. This is a commitment that's born from traditions of service and community and sacrifice that I know runs very deep in the Hispanic culture. And today we work in a country that our community really helped to build, and who we have farmed and fed and helped to build this country from the ground up, from the American Civil War through the wars of today. Our people serve, and the prosperity of this country will and always has been inextricably linked to the success of Hispanics in this country. We know what the numbers are. We've seen the last census, and so as a country we are only stronger if we all rise up together. And so a number of different things I'm going to kind of tick through, some work that we have been doing across the administration that many of you may or may not be familiar with. But I think the important thing for us to recognize as we kind of pause for this month-long celebration, that we acknowledge that as a community we have arrived. We are here. We, the last census numbers, 54 million Hispanics in this country. We are just a more diverse country than we've ever been. Our community is not a monolithic community. We are Puerto Ricans, we are Mexican Americans, we are Colombians, we speak different dialects of Spanish. But the reality is that we have a seat at the table. You can see that by Treasurer Rios, with Secretary Perez, with all of the kind of high-level appointments. I'll talk a little bit about that here, too, and that we're, going to account for upwards of 60% of the labor force in the future. And so we need to make sure that we make strong investments and continue to keep working together to spur economic growth and make sure that the community as we provide economic security for all Americans, that ultimately we are providing that for our community. The president has outlined, and I know that you have probably heard this, a vision for the country to create a better bargain for the middle class, to create jobs and create opportunities for housing and education, healthcare, and the environment, all things that are critical to the success of our families and to the middle class, and that our community really stands to benefit from, and that all communities stand to benefit from. Let me first talk a little bit about education and the investments that we have made in education for those to compete in the 21st century. We need to make sure that our children have access to quality education from pre-K, when they start off early in the early development stages, through college, and making sure that they're not saddled with inextricable debt that they cannot get past once they graduate from college, and that they have an opportunity to go into a job market where their skills are needed and valued. We are turning around some of the lowest performing schools, reducing dropout rates and increasing graduation rates so that every student can realize their full potential. And so that's what we've been fighting for, what the president has outlined in his education agenda, and what we hope to continue to do. On the subject of healthcare, a little bit of a controversial topic, but one that is going to move forward come October 1st, no matter what. The Affordable Care Act will have a tremendous impact on the Hispanic community. There are upwards of 10.3 million uninsured Hispanics in this country today. That's roughly 1 in 3. And with the implementation of the Affordable Care Act on October 1st, we're going to open up a wide array of opportunity for people to buy affordable and quality health insurance. In fact, yesterday, a study came out that said that 6 in 10 uninsured Americans who are uninsured today will be able to buy health insurance come October 1st when the health insurance marketplace is open for less than $100 a month. That's 6 in 10. That's huge, and that's going to be a game changer for people who are sick, who have been kicked out of their insurance plans because they have pre-existing conditions or because they've hit their lifetime limits or just don't have access to care because they can't afford it. So less than $100 a month is a really big thing and is something that the president has fought for and will ultimately take effect on October 1st. On veterans, we know that we have over or close to 300,000 active duty service members in our military today who are Latino. And we know that we have served in every war since the American Revolution. And that's a huge thing. And so we are continuing to work as an administration, slowly but surely, to chip away at the veterans backlog to make sure that our veterans are getting the care that they deserve and have earned, and that we're taking care of them when they get home from war, and that we are making sure that they have jobs in which to go to. And one initiative the President and First Lady have launched around joining forces is not just to make sure that our communities are places to, take care of the military families whose mothers or fathers or sisters or brothers are deployed, but also making sure when they come back, companies are making a concerted effort to hire our veterans who are returning from service. So that's something that we remain committed to. One other really key issue on immigration that I know matters to a lot of people, 90% of the American public agrees that we should fix our broken immigration system. It's not working. It hasn't worked for a very long time. And it is important to fix that, not just to be fair and to play by the rules, but it's important to our national security and our economic security. So we continue to plug away at that and making sure that we have a strong and robust system and that we fix the broken system so that people can live to their full potential, particularly those like DREAM Act students who have the opportunity to really contribute to this country. The last thing I'll say that usually goes unnoticed in the day-to-day is the president has really taken it upon himself to say that diversity and excellence are not mutually exclusive, and that we can have some of the best people serving at the highest levels who we should have that represent and look like America. And so he's appointed people like Rosie Rios, Secretary Tom Perez, Justice Sotomayor, and others across this federal government who really represent what the American people look like, and from regional diversity to ethnic diversity to sexual identity and gender diversity. So that's something that's been a huge priority for us as we continue to move forward. In fact, he has named the highest number of Hispanic appointees, political appointees, than any other administration. And of Senate confirmed Hispanic appointees, more than half of the ones that he has named have been women. So it's a huge point and just goes to show our community the power of women. The last thing that I will just say is that, we have made a lot of huge gains for our community over the last several years. It's been great to kind of see the progress that has been made in this administration as we've moved forward in the last 4 years. It feels hard to believe that I've been there for, 4 years, and I think this is my 5-year anniversary, kind of if you count the transition, and the amount of stuff that we've been able to get through and that we've been able to work toward in the not just successes, but the balls we've been able to move forward to make people's lives better. But we know that we're not done. We've got 3 years left. It's scary to say that we only have 3 years left, but that we really have a lot more to do, and all of that we do is going to benefit our community and is going to be an opportunity to create more opportunities for people, who are my generation, who are going to kind of serve and continue this legacy of opportunity and service moving forward. So I just want to close by saying that thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to spend time here with you and to get out of the gates of the White House. Thank you again for the work that you do every single day to make our country and our government work a little bit better. Thank you for your service. I know many of you have been in the federal government for a very long time. I admire you. I hope that I can be like you and continue this work, because through public service is really how we can continue to make people's lives better. And so I appreciate that and the work that you guys do day to day here. So thank you very much.
Stephanie, we're going to do our best to load your pockets down right now. But before we do, I want to touch on one thing you mentioned, and that's veterans hiring. And between the Mint and our sister bureau, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, which the Treasurer is responsible for both those bureaus, we have nearly 1,000 veterans who have served our military, and that's about 30% of all the employee base. So that's a very apropos comment to your comment on veterans hiring and the administration's goals there. We do have 2 coins for you. I was privileged to go to Chaco, New Mexico to launch the New Mexico quarter last spring, and so we have one of those for you. And then Treasurer Rios was launched the Puerto Rico El Yunque quarter earlier last year as well. And so we have 2 quarters for you. That's the best we can do. So.
We tried the Fort Knox Gold. It was too heavy. Way too heavy. Well, thank you very much.
And so is there a photographer nearby? Where'd Tracy go? No? We have a plaque too. No. On behalf of the United States Mint, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's that.
My New Mexico quarter. I've been dying to get this quarter. I'm from New Mexico, for those of you that don't know. I'm very proud of that. Should be.
So let's stand right here and we'll get a photo. Battery's died. Excellent, thank you. And this is for you as well. Michelle.
Thank you so much, Ms. Valencia, for your informative message. Thank you so much. At this time, we are going to have some cultural entertainment by Heather Dieguez. And for those of you who don't know, Heather is a human resources specialist in the Human Resources Division, and she's also an accomplished singer and songwriter. So just join me in a round of applause as she gets ready to provide us some cultural entertainment, okay?
Thank you. Well, this is truly an honor to be able to not only work for such an incredible agency, but to get to perform for you on this wonderful occasion. So thank you for having me. So this first song I'm going to sing for you, I have 3 prepared, and this is one of my personal favorites. And it was a song written in 1973 and made famous by a Spanish band called Mocedades, which means youths. And it's called Eres Tú, and it means it's you. And it's the only Spanish song to reach top 10 in the U.S., and it's one of my personal favorites. Como una promesa, eres tú, como una mañana de verano, como una sonrisa, eres tú, así, así, eres tú. Toda mi esperanza, eres tú, como lluvia fresca en mis manos, como fuerte brisa, eres tú, así, así.
eres tú. Eres tú, como el agua de mi fuente. Eres tú, el fuego de mi hogar. Eres tú, como el fuego de mi hoguera. Eres tú, el trago de mi pan. Como mi poema eres tú, como una guitarra en la noche. Como mi horizonte eres tú, así, así, eres tú. Eres tú, como el agua de mi fuente. Eres tú, el fuego de mi hogar. Eres tú, como el fuego de mi hoguera. Eres tú, el trago de mi pan. Thank you. So, this next song was first presented to Michael Jackson as an instrumental, but he turned it down. And so it was then presented to Madonna, who not only accepted it, but wrote the words and the melody. And Madonna says it is a tribute to the beauty of the Latin people, and it reached number 4 on the top 100 US Billboard chart in the US. And it means the beautiful island, or La Isla Bonita. I'm doing it with my mouth. Can you tell? Last night I dreamt of San Pedro, just like I'd never gone. I knew the song, young girl with eyes like the desert. It all seems like yesterday, not far away. Tropical, the island breeze, all the nature wild and free. This is where I long to be, La Isla Bonita. And when the samba played, the sun would set so high, ring through my ears and sting my eyes, Spanish lullaby. I fell in love with San Pedro. Warm wind carried on the sea, he called to me. Te dijo, te amo. I prayed that the days would last, they went so fast. Tropical, the island breeze, all the nature wild and free. This is where I long to be, La Isla Bonita. And when the samba played, the sun would set so high, ring through my ears and sting my eyes, Spanish lullaby. I wanna be where the sun warms the sky. When it's time for siesta, you can watch them go by. Beautiful faces, no cares in the world, where a girl loves a boy and a boy nature wild and free. This is where I long to be. Las Cosas Bonitas. Thank you. So for my last song, this is a Mexican folk song that is best known for a 1958 adaptation by Richie Valens, and it was a top 40 hit on the US charts. They say the song derives from one of two words, either bambolero, which means swinging or swaying, or bambolero, which is someone who likes to boast. And in the song, there's some lyrics, I'm not a sailor, I'm a captain. So it could be one of those two words. And the song, as you probably have guessed, is La Bamba, and it's describing a type of dance. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
Woo. It was kind of hard to sit still in my seat. Just made me want to dance. Thank you so much, Heather. That was fabulous. Wow. Give her another round of applause. Wow. She had me moving. Okay. And so now we're coming to the end of our program. And so at this time, we're going to have Ms. Deborah Hayes, the Chief of the Diversity Management and Civil Rights Division, which is located within the Department of Workforce Solutions, or I should say Workforce Solutions Department, who is headed by Annie Brown. We're going to have Deborah Hayes come forward, and she's going to do the closing remarks for us, okay? Thank you.
Well, as I'm coming, Heather,
Excuse
can
me.
you come back up for a second and hit that last beat one more time? I want to see some of my men colleagues move just a second. So, do La Bamba, just one more, just a little bit more. And I was actually going to call Beverly up. Just one second of that. It sounds absolutely wonderful. Do we have any volunteers? Ms. Rio?
Who wants to sing La Bamba? Come on.
Well, we can stand up and sing it. How about we stand? Just stand up for a second.
Hey, it's a Wednesday. We can dance a little too, right?
Thank you. I will be brief in my closing remarks. First, let me say thank you to each of you for attending today's observance. Thank you to all of my wonderful colleagues at all of the field locations from across this outstanding country. Thank you most definitely to Ms. Valencia for your remarks and for your informative remarks, just letting us know just a little mini snippet into what the White House does in terms of the Hispanic community. And I do mean many, because I know it's this much. So thank you so much. Thank you to the Treasurer for your introduction and for your support and for always being ever present for the Mint and for BEP. Thank you to Dick Peterson, our esteemed Deputy Director, to Ms. Beverly Babers, our Chief Administrative Officer, to our senior leaders to my left. Can you just wave your hand? I think we know who you are, but we want to recognize you as well. And thank you finally to Michelle Satchel and the team for putting this together today, because without her and the team, none of this would be successful. So let's give her a round of applause. We truly understand and know that Hispanic Americans have made numerous contributions to this country, both on the national front as well as international. And so we are all joined by the fact that we are truly Americans. That's what we are, and we're proud to serve our country. Finally, on October 24th, we will hear from another colleague from the White House Office of Public Engagement. Ms. Claudia Gordon has confirmed as our speaker for our Disability Employment Awareness Month. So put that on your calendar, 10 a.m. I hope to see you back, your wonderful smiling faces back in this place, most definitely. And Heather as well. I hear you, Tom. We've heard an endorsement for Heather to return, so we hope we can encourage her to return as well. So again, we thank you so much for your time, for sharing your afternoon with us, and we thank you for your support. And please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here.